Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're playing another premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Without further ado, let's draft our third black deck in a row, shall we? We open an incredible black mythic rare. We're obviously going to take it and play it. Black is one of the strongest colors in the set, and this is a very, very good card for any black deck. 3 mana for a 2/3 and a 1/1 at worst, and then every time another non-token human dies, you get another 1/1 human. And you can give any of your humans lifelink till end of turn for 2 mana. That includes Jaren himself. And the last ability is the most narrow, probably doesn't happen too often, but if you manage to be at exactly 13 life, you get to flip into a giant lifelinking, trampling demon that will surely win you the game. But just up front, 3 mana for a 2/3 and a 1/1 is already pretty good. If this triggers at least one time, getting you an additional 1/1, that's great, and it's got a bunch more flexibility on top of that. So we'll take a Jaren here and see where that takes us in this draft. We can stick to black for now with Olivia's Midnight Ambush. This is a great removal spell. 2 mana for -2/-2 at instant speed is already good, but if somebody starts that day-night cycle, this is a full-on, basically destroy anything removal spell during the night, because then you get -13. So I like that. It's a great way to follow up Jaren. There's other pretty good cards, though. The Audric's Outrider is an excellent card for like Black-White Sacrifice. That would be not the worst pick ever off of the Jaren, which is another good card for a Sacrifice deck, giving you multiple creatures. The Burly Breaker's just beefy for the cost. It's a fine green card. Sunrise Cavalry is a fine Boros card, but we just keep this simple and take the black removal spell. Pick 3 is a little bit awkward for us. There's no really simple follow-up. Novice Occultist would be okay. It's fine filler, and it keeps us in black. It's also a human to go with Jaren, which is good. Another non-token human to die. And that probably has enough synergy to just take it here, but it is a reasonably big dip in power level from taking something off-color like a Gale Drifter that can come back from grave. A Blessed Defiance is a great combat trick, or one of these uncommons. The problem with the uncommons is they're both basically 2-color cards that don't really touch black. The green-blue Signpost uncommon and Seize the Storm, while it's a mono-red card, is kind of the blue-red Signpost uncommon. It's for a deck that's casting a ton of instants and sorceries and recasting them and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Not really for like a black-red deck, like a Rakdos deck. So I'll just go for the Occultist there. Take a little bit of a hit in power level for a synergy piece that keeps us on color. Pick 4. Here we don't have to take any hit in powerful. Ecstatic Awakener is one of the best black commons. One of the best commons in the whole set, period. Card is great, and it works excellently with both our Novice Occultist and our Jaren. So very happy to see that. Multiple Sunrise Cavalry. Somebody's going to have a fun Boros deck. Pick number 5. Arrogant Outlaw is a perfectly serviceable card. It's fine filler. Could be weak enough to speculate off color, taking like a Gavany Silversmith here to buff the board up and maybe try to push towards that Black-White Sacrifice deck. I mean, honestly, the Outlaw's pretty solid, and Silversmith isn't really any more special. It's fine. I'm just going to stick to black, delay the decision, and find our second color later. Wow. Third Sunrise Cavalry. The odds of just opening that many Sunrise Cavalry that quickly are pretty low, so that's really funny, but we're happy to see that black is still perfectly open, and we grab another Olivia's Midnight Ambush over a Hobbling Zombie, which would be another solid card. Pick 7, another Seize the Storm. I mean, if we get enough great black removal spells, maybe we could go Rakdos instants and sorceries. Try to just flood our grave and exile with instants and sorcery for Seize the Storm. But again, it's really, really meant for blue-red. And we're technically, even taking, multiple removal spells this early, we're still only on 2 instants and sorceries out of 6 cards. I'm just going to take the Search Party Captain. I think black-white's a much more synergistic color pair than trying to go black-red non-vampires, or even the Gale Drifter would be reasonable here towards maybe another blue-black deck. But we did do 2 blue-black decks in a row, so if we can do something a bit different here and go black-white sack instead of blue-black zombies, I would be happy to do so. And I think some of our cards so far are more synergistic for black-white, like the Jaren and the Occultist, than they are for blue-black. Now we can take Candlegrove, which is fine filler. Pick 9. Unruly Mob's fine in black-white sack, but honestly, Bat Whisper's just better. Gives you 2 different permanents off of the one card. giving you a flyer as well is great. Pick 10, Gavany Trapper. That is a solid human to add to the deck for another potential Jaren trigger, as well as a way to keep your opponent's scariest threats locked down. Like me a Gavany Trapper, and here we can really get committed to our color pair, move fully onto white here. Bless Defiance, deceptively good card, +2/+0 and lifelink till end of turn, gives you a really big swing in terms of life total to make sure that you can win the race, and then you get to leave behind a 1/1 Flying Spirit after your trade. Card is great. And let's see what we got in pack number 2. All right, we got some really solid black finishers. The Dreadhound at 6 mana. Yeah, you mill 3 cards and then ping your opponent for every creature that you mill. And then anytime any creature is dying or getting milled, you're pinging your opponent again. So a good way to find ways to deal damage to your opponent without having to actually break through. The Diregraph Horde is exceptional too, though. It's just so much stats for the cost, even if some of them are decayed. Plus it shuts off flashback nonsense and disturb nonsense. Then the Hostile is pretty fun, but also quite slow. I think I just prefer the regular straight-up win cons than that. And I'm going to go for Dreadhound here. I think in black-white we should be getting a lot of death triggers throughout these games pretty easily. Pack 2, pick 2. Crawl from the Cellar is a solid piece of graveyard recursion, or Covert Cutpurse. He is okay. Neither half of the card is very good for its mana cost. Got to get your opponent into a position where they block in a way that's profitable to you. It's another human to go with Jaren. That's not nothing. I feel like if I'm strictly trying to win, I'm probably supposed to take this Startle and be open to moving on to blue-black. I would really prefer not to do the same deck thrice in a row, because I am sure that we will get in at least 1 or 2 more draft pods this flashback week, where we'll end up in blue-black after only 2 or 3 picks, so I'd really prefer not to end up just pivoting onto blue-black late into this draft. I don't want to do blue-black like 7 times in a row, and this is one draft we've actually started not fully in blue, like not fully in the blue-black here, so we'll stick to black-white here for variety's sake. Going to be a tiny bit low on removal, not taking this Defenestrate, but I think Diregraph Horde is really just an excellent finisher, excellent top-end card. I'm going to take that. Anyway, it plays really well with Dreadhound too. Dreadhound works great with your decayed zombies. Now we get another Search Party Captain for some more great value. Love to see that. Another human as well. Sigarda Splendor is cute, but really, really finicky in my experience. I've only played it like once, didn't love it, and every time that I've played against it, it's just been pretty awkward. But again, we're talking about memories from over 4 years ago now. There's been a lot of sets since then, so I've certainly forgotten. Maybe there was some really good Splendor deck we had at some point. Oh, this would have been a really fun blue-red pod. We could have had, I think, double Seize the Storm and then a Storm Skrillex. Fun stuff. Instead, we have Crawl from the Cellar or Vengeful Strangler. I think black-white's kind of the perfect archetype for Vengeful Strangler. It can get a little bit aggressive. It can sack it for value. I think it's pretty good here. Flesh Taker, nice. The Signpost uncommon. Hard to justify it over Eaten Alive, which is just excellent removal. But even if we take the Eaten Alive, we're happy to see a Flesh Taker so late, because it's a good sign for our color pair. And it's a human too, so it's the right card type. I mean, if the removal's going this late now, hopefully it continues to go that late in pack number 3. We just need to grab like 1 or 2 more removal spells in that final pack. I'm going to take the Flesh Taker here and make sure we've got a very standard synergistic black-white list here. Have all the things going for the color pair that you need. Yeah, deck's looking great. Just want to grab a couple removal spells in the final pack and we'll be golden. Bat Whisperer, Gavany Silversmith are both pretty reasonable here. I mean, even Morning Patrol I don't mind, but I like the other 2 a little better. Yeah, let's get some counters going. Another Traveler. Shady Travelers are likely to be some of our first cuts. In fact, I'm going to stick them all the way to the side right now. Okay, pack 3. What do we open up? Another black rare. It's not a great one, though. I'm going to take removal over it. We really, really need to find a couple more removal spells. Card's fine. 2 mana for a 3/3, your opponent gets a 1/1. But then whenever your opponent's creatures die, you get +1/+1 counters on this. So it theoretically grows pretty well. But the issue with this card is there's a lot of good removal in the set. And if your opponent does cast a removal spell on it, they're up a 1/1 token. You don't actually get any benefit off of this having entered, but your opponent does. So 2 mana, play the 3/3 Slaughter Specialist, and then your opponent just goes 3 mana, deal 3 to target creature and kills it. Now they're ahead that game, so it does not pair super well in this set. I'd rather just take a removal spell. Probably in most positions I'd rather just take a removal spell there, but especially with how low we are in removal. Here I'll take a Siege Zombie. Certainly better in a blue-black deck with more decayed zombies, but we have a little bit of token production here to get some damage off with this card. It's another 2-drop on curve as well, where we have a lot at 3. Certainly want a pivotal mass of 2 mana creatures to get these Search Party Captains costs reduced. So I'm going to take Siege Zombie over Hobbling Zombie. Pack 3, pick 3. Morbid Opportunist is one of the mythic uncommons in the set. If it doesn't die to removal, it's just going to sit there and draw you a card almost every single turn. Creatures are dying left and right, especially with decayed zombie tokens, especially in a sacrifice deck like this, where we could sack a token to trigger this. Opportunist is fantastic stuff. This is a pretty rough pack for us. Organ Hoarder is a really excellent card, and then there's some pretty good uncommons in other colors. But when it comes to black-white stuff, there's just a bunch of really filler creatures again, and they're at a pretty contested mana cost. We got plenty to do at 3. Really not into this pack. I don't think I'm going to play any of these cards. Just Shaft an Organ Hoarder to be rude. Defenestrate's perfect. Still willing to play more removal spells for sure. And 3 of our removal spells being Olivia's Midnight Ambushes actually makes Shady Traveler go up in value a bit. Just any card that starts that day-night cycle can help us get to nighttime to actually make these -13, -13s. So that's a little bit interesting to me. Might do that. Oh, actually, I think the Soul Guide Gryph is better than it looks. Soul Guide Gryph might be better than No Way Out here. Probably is. Here's another Blessed Defiance. Nonsense. Rare draft an uncommon for Vault Progress. Cut the Blade Brand for sure. Rare drafting uncommons for Vault Progress again. Probably go Cut Purse. Kind of want to just cut these 3 cards way on the right here. No Way Out, Double Traveler. I'm not really day-nighting my Midnight Ambushes, but Travelers are so filler otherwise. Yeah, I'm going to drop them. Call it a deck there. Hop into the gameplay. Well, we'll get this Bramble Armor out of here. But we'll call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay. See how far this one takes us. Alright, we are on the draw for game number 1. Our opponent starts with turn 1 Ecstatic Awakener, and they are on black-green. Some Golgari good stuff over there. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Jadar plus Awakener is already such a great deal. So even if I kill this Jadar, they've gotten great value here. But I gotta kill the Jadar. It's slightly scarier than Ecstatic Awakener. We could have killed Awakener as well to take less damage immediately, but over time, Jadar puts in more work if they have anything else to sacrifice cards for value. Jadar's just so good with sack cards. Alright, this is already a real nasty start. And I'm not a fan of. Let's go Flesh Taker, hold up Blessed Defiance. Rather not two-for myself to kill a Woken Demon, but it's an option. Counter that. Counter that and keep them from attacking this turn. Feels like about as good as we could have hoped for from that. That ended up playing great. Flesh Taker sacks the creature, get +2/+2. So I make it a 4/4 already. So with just one other creature on board, I can already make it big enough to trade into the demon. Just trade into the demon with a Death Touch or two, though. If I have 2 creatures on board to sack, I'm threatening to make the Flesh Taker a 6/6 and block the demon. They do go and removal spell it, which is fine. We'll Death Touch trade into the demon. It's a pretty reasonable recovery from the Ecstatic Awakener Jadar, just immediate massive value start our opponent had there. We're still behind because of how good those two are together, but this game still has some legs to it. I think I'm okay to chump and draw a card here. Do some digging. Vengeful Strangler. Harvesttide Sentry, sure. Beginning of your upkeep. Beginning of my upkeep, the permanent's controller sacks a permanent and loses a life. Okay. Oh, I don't have the mana to play both of these and sack, though. I would need a 6th mana. Can Awakener and sack the Decayed Zombie. And then if I draw a land, I can also Gavany Trapper. Sure. Again, I don't remember if full control is necessary for this, but you can attack with a Decayed Zombie and then sack it after it's dealt damage. It's probably not necessary to full control since the Decayed ability goes on the stack. We did not draw land, unfortunately. So no Gavany Trapper this turn, but that's what the 4/4 blocker's for. Timberland Guide, make the Sentry a 4/2. Nope, make the 4/4 5/5. That works too. Go to 9. Get bombed straight to death by Mask of Grizzlebrand. Yeah, we were probably still in a solid position without that, but Jadar into Mask of Grizzlebrand. It's a good thing we killed Jadar, because if they still had a bunch of Decayed Zombies, turn over turn, drawing cards and hitting us in the sky, be even worse. See about getting an Arrogant Outlaw onto this board and triggering. Pass, be ready to tap the 5/5 if they equip it with the mask, and then they equip the mask elsewhere. I probably should have done Midnight Ambush before that equip resolved, because now they're going to draw 1 card and lose 1 life. Can hit them for 7 on the crackback. That's nowhere near lethal, though. Yeah, I mean, we kill the Sentry. So they lose 1, draw 1. I should have killed it in response, so they just draw 0. I think the 1 damage is certainly worth the 1 card they draw. It's going to be a close one. Return Foul Play from their grave to their hand. Attack both, play Search Party Captain, and tap down the 5/5. Yeah, if I play Opportunist, they're just going to foul play that one. It's Captain. I guess they just foul play Gavany Trapper here. If I play Jaren, I'm dead. Because I go to 5 and then they equip flying. I think it's too risky to play anything else there instead of just tapping the 5/5. Crack the clue. They have a 2-mana or less creature. I guess they're dead if they don't. Truly surprising. That was a close game there. We were genuinely basically one attack from dead. Because they could have had flying on this thing, would be at 1 if they managed to get through without the trapper there. Yeah, really close game. Good stuff there. Scrapping 2, just only cast our commons and uncommons. And our commons and uncommons alone fight their way through a Jadar and a Mask. All right, good showing from the deck. We take those. That's 1-0 heading into game 2. Okay, here we are on the play for game number 2. Vengeful Strangler into Morbid Opportunist is a nice little combo. Kind of guarantees something's going to be dying if they don't kill Opportunist fast enough. I mean, something's going to be dying either way. But something's going to be dying and we're going to be drawing a card if they don't kill Opportunist fast enough. So Strangler's going to just keep ripping away, chipping away at their life total if they don't take a trade with it. If they do take a trade with it, I'll draw my Opportunist card. And then if they do take a trade with it, it attaches onto something else and kills that as well. It's like a bunch of death triggers over multiple turns, which is great. So they could be attacking just for the mana here, but Opportunist is such a strong card. I don't think it's worth even the slightest risk of making it more likely to die here. So I'm not blocking. Shadow Beast Siding. Cool. Can double spell with Flesh Taker and Midnight Ambush. Sure. Still have the Defenestrate for everybody else they have. Or for anybody else they have. Not everyone else. I can't blow up their whole board with Defenestrate. We've got a Dreadhound to top off our curve. Vengeful Strangler with the Flesh Taker is a pretty lovely combo. Triggers at the beginning of our upkeep, so we'd have to sack it by their end step if we want to get an immediate trigger out of it. So it's not worth putting a stop on our upkeep. If we stop on our upkeep and then sack it then, we're already past the beginning of upkeep triggers. That would force a sack on their side. I love cards like that where opponents just keep reading it over and over and over. It's like it does do some specific stuff, that's for sure. Don't quite have the mana to do everything I would like. I can either Defenestrate or Siege Zombie because I want to have the mana up to sack someone to Flesh Taker as well. Okay, now I can do Siege Zombie and Defenestrate. That is fine by me. So we draw the card, we're going to kill one of these, which will then draw us another card next turn. Go to 10. Pestilent Wolf, Death Touching blocker. Defenestrate a 4/4 draw card. Ping them for 1. Move to our upkeep. They sack somebody. We draw another card. So they sack the 4/4 so that they don't have to keep sacking something turn over turn, which makes sense. We draw the Olivia's Midnight Ambush. If I kill Wolf right now, I don't draw a card off of it, so I'm going to spend a turn setting up and play a Dreadhound first. The triple ping. That actually puts them low enough. I'm super okay trading like a Siege Zombie off into Wolf if they want. Be a double ping. Okay. So I'm going to trade a Combat Trick and a Siege Zombie instead. I'm going to hold all the blockers up rather than hitting for one more. This is fine by me. Kessig Naturalist. They have one card left in their hand and they're 2 flashback 7 mana to get 4/4s. Pass back to us, and now I'm happy to Midnight Ambush because we draw a card off of it too. Let's get that Death Toucher out of here. Defend the Celestis is real good here. It does make them tapped out of any more tricks, though. So they can't give Death Touch this turn, so I can actually send these both in pretty freely and get a lot of damage in here. This is probably lethal off of Dreadhound triggers, actually. Take a Gavany Trapper. I think this is lethal off Dreadhound triggers. Actually play Awakener over Trapper, since we drew that as well. That's Exactsies. 2 more Dreadhound pings plus 6 to the face is the final 8 damage. Gross. Yeah, Flesh Taker Dreadhound is quite the finisher there, but really the hero of this game, Morbid Opportunist. So many cards drawn off of that thing, making sure we had way more gas than our opponent at the end of that game. More stuff left on board. Just jam through for that damage. That is 2-0 heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3. Unfortunately, quite awkward mana. Swamp, 3 white spells, and then a 3 mana and a 5 mana black spell. I mean, if we draw any land, we're playing a turn 3 Jaren, and we are on the draw, which gives us more time. Gives us 1 additional draw step, I should say. Not more time, but 1 more draw step to hit the lands on time. This is a little bit greedy, but we haven't gotten to play Jaren yet. Let's see about a turn 3 Jaren. Any land in the top 3 gets us there. Now the Ecstatic Awakener is great with Jaren. We are playing against blue-black, which is the strongest archetype in the set. If you don't believe me, watch our first couple drafts. I think it is objectively, inarguably, by far, the strongest archetype in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So just the basics our opponents have played is already a little scary. We've missed lands so far, but there we go. Right on time, turn 3, we find that 3rd land. Let's send in Holding Up Defenestrate in case they do something goofy. Well, they could have that flyer. 3 mana for 2/1 flyer. Creature gets -2 mana so till end of turn. They could also have Flip the Switch, though, counter something and get a Decayed Zombie. Either of those cards is pretty bad for me. If I attack and they have the Flash Spirits, then at least I know Jaren resolves. And if I attack and they don't have the Flash Spirit, then this looks more likely to be the counterspell, in which place we play the Captain? I think I play the Captain into the counterspell over the Jaren. Because Jaren's kind of also going to draw us a card because it's giving us the token to draw a card off of Awakener. And obviously we should play something here so that if I'm fighting against ghosts here and I'm playing against something they don't even have, we still get value. Because you can definitely tax yourself a lot if you religiously play around Quench and Flip the Switch, and I'm certainly guilty of that at times. If your opponent just doesn't have a quench in hand, but you constantly play like they do, you're letting 2 mana go to waste every single turn forever. So sometimes you gotta make them have it, and they did not seem to have Flip the Switch. Okay, they tap out for Bat Whisperer. We hit land 4 on time here, on curve here. That's beautiful. Our Search Party Captain's quite a decent attacker here. It's also a decent blocker, but Jaren's going to be plenty of blocks. And this way we can get our Bat Whisperer damage in and get our own Bat Whisperer, the 1/1 flyer, to block their 2/1 flyer and get that out of here. These Blessed Defiant, I feel like these Blessed Defiants are going to be very good this game, but we'll see. So it feels like a bit of a race. Lots of vampires running around. Perfectly balanced. Bat Whisperer trades into Bat Whisperer, and they play a Baneblade Scoundrel. Moderately scary card. Doesn't do anything when it's blocking, right? Whenever this creature becomes blocked, the blockers get -1/-1. Yeah, so it only works while it's attacking. So, with a Blessed Defiance here, feel like we are jamming. Trading a Blessed Defiance up into the Scoundrel. Plopping down a Jaren. They could also just not block the 2/2, and then we play differently, obviously. I suppose pre-combat Jaren makes it so if the Search Party Captain dies this turn, we also get another 1/1, which is cool. But then that makes them less likely to want to block and makes us less likely to get our Blessed Defiance. Okay, they're just going to block like that. If they do that, then I might Defenestrate this turn. I could still Blessed Defiance, gain 3, and make sure I still have a flyer for Interloper. Actually seems fine. Still got the blocker for the Interloper, and we just boop the Scoundrel. Keep them completely off of us. Shipwreck Sifters, draw a card, discard a card. Baithook Angler, which is a spirit for the Sifters. So that's now a 2/3 on their board, on blocks, holding off our 2/2. And they're going to send the Interloper in. Alright, we'll take the trade. And get that out of here. Flesh Taker's the draw. Oh, play a Captain and a Blessed Defiance, or a Jaren and a Blessed Defiance. I'm going to do Jaren and Blessed Defiance, and we'll send out Jaren first, so if they do take the trade, we get the double token here. Two damage to the face. I'll take that too. Falcon Abomination, excellent card. 2/2 flyer and a 2/2 decayed zombie. They pass back to us. Oof, speaking of excellent cards, Morbid Opportunist is here. Run it out holding up Blessed Defiance. Get some value. Don't remember a 1-mana black instant. If there is one, it's going to be at a higher rarity. So I believe I'm free to Bless Defiance where I want it. Yep. Fine with this. We're unlikely to ever be at exactly 13. So we'll Jaren away. Oh, I forgot. For some reason, I thought I was going to be able to kill both of those, but still just killing one is fine. The life total I'm at, I actually think I just want to kill the 3 toughness blocker here then, though. So I would have to Bless Defiance to kill the larger blocker anyway. Not the biggest waste of Bless Defiance, but probably would have been better to not cast it and just kill the Abomination. I just, for some reason in my head, got it to being +3/+0 and not +2/+0. I wish I had held on to one more removal spell, because Geese is a really strong card. Get a decayed version of one of our creatures every turn. Or not every turn. Anytime one of our creatures dies, they get decayed copies of all of them in their next upkeep. Okay. They're at 10. They have a single blocker up. They could block the 4/4, take 2, 3, 4, 5. Diregraph Horde can't exile anything that Geese is exiling. Whatever Awakener sacks goes under Geese as well. Awakener could sack a token, though, and it won't go under Geese, and that'll be 2 Opportunist triggers. Gain 1, scry 1, draw 2. I could maybe use the extra mana. Not confident on that though, I'll just ditch it. We'll probably draw another land in the top 3. Because we draw 2 now and then we draw another card next turn. Right? Oh, this is non-token creatures. Wait, no, it's not. Had that already triggered that turn? Why did I only draw 1? I should have drawn 1 from Ecstatic, 1 from Opportunist. Opportunist must have already triggered or something, and I forgot. Yeah, sack another creature, then draw a card, so I would have drawn. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. Yeah, so that would have drawn a card off the token too. I'm confused. Morbid Opportunist must have triggered before that at some point, and I just didn't notice. Okay. They're at 5. That's a lot of mana up. That's a lot of mana up for somebody who chose not to flashback this creature for another blocker. So they're guaranteed to have something here. I think I'm just supposed to not go that ham here. Just go Demon and Flesh Taker. Just the creatures that are big enough to trade into Gisa. Without triggering her at all. And then we're going to gain 1, scry 1, and trigger our Opportunist once. To draw 1. A creature died. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. Tokens trigger death triggers. Why am I not drawing? Gisa. It's because Gisa. Gisa is technically exiling the tokens too. That's what's confusing me. Because they're tokens, we don't see them go anywhere. So we always assume it's like a death trigger, like they always do. They die like cards normally do. technically Gisa is overriding the token death trigger and making the tokens get exiled too. Okay. Very confusing and rude from Gisa. I don't appreciate that. Well, now that they're tapped out of blue, let's just get 3 different creatures, and if we hit them with a single creature, they're dead. Alright. I have 6 attackers that you need to block to survive now. And that's a concession. Okay. I was so confused there. I didn't know what was going on. But obviously it's Gisa. Gisa exiles everything that dies, including tokens, even though tokens don't go under Gisa because they disappear immediately. They're still getting exiled instead of dying. Man. Alright, well, good stuff there. Great work from Jaren. Great work from Blessed Defiance. Great work from the whole deck. Push our way through a Gisa there and get our 3rd victory. We are 3-0, heading into game 4. All right, here we go on the play for game number 4, and we have probably the quickest curve we've had so far. Awakener into Witch or Siege Zombie, followed by a Search Party Captain. There's a Gavany Trapper as well, Jesus. So we can double spell next turn. Candlegrove Witch, I want to play Candlegrove Witch first here, because we'll have Coven next turn. We'll have 3 different powers with the creatures, because we'll have a 0. It's going to be really sweet. Can work on maybe even getting a 1-mana Search Party Captain soon. Yeah, that creature cannot block. So currently we are live to attack with 3 creatures next turn, which is pretty sick. I hit for 3 if I attack. I also hit for 3 if I tap with Siege Zombie. I'll just attack and leave these untapped. Reckless Stormseeker, please give it haste and attack with it. Goated. Thank you, opponent. So now we get to play an Outlaw and Search Party Captain because we get to attack with 3 creatures. To make Captain cost 1, and then Outlaw drains them, and it's high enough power to train a Stormseeker. This is an insane game of Magic. Down to 9 now, and we can tap Siege Zombie. We got 3 untapped creatures for Siege Zombie. This is one of those OP Search Party Captain curve outs. When you get the 1-mana Search Party Captain, like, that is a feeling. Famished Foragers gives them the mana to play another creature, so that's pretty good too. Double spell with double creature here would be really good. Ooh, not the 1 damage ping and draw card to kill my Awakener, that's sad. That's pretty rough. Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Well, it's not midnight right now, so that's not great. I think I'm supposed to send in the team and ambush the Stormseeker still. Take 6 on the crackback. I mean, they have to block. There's basically no decision here for them. They're dead to 1 Siege Zombie tap now. If they don't kill the Siege Zombie, they're dead. If they do kill it, still have 3 other attackers and a Gavany Trapper shutting off a block. Arrogant Outlaw would be their biggest out here, something that gains a little bit of life when it hits the board. It's the simplest out that I could think of. I guess there's like Burn Down the House, deal 5 to all creatures. So there's the Foragers. So they can double spell again. Foul play the Siege Zombie. They can crack the Clue too, but they're already dead on board. Triple blocker's not enough. Gavany Trapper OP. concession from our opponent. That is 4-0. Just a ridiculous curve there. Tons of creatures on the board, way too fast to recover when you're on the draw like our opponent was there. Beautiful game. 4-0. Undefeated all the way into a positive record no matter what as we head into game 5. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5 with quite the opening hand. We have kind of the dream team here. Ecstatic Awakener and Flesh Taker as really good creatures for sacrificing cards. And then 2 cards that love it when we sacrifice creatures. Morbid Opportunist drawing us a card every time we do so. Or the Vengeful Strangler being a removal spell if we sacrifice it. That Strangling Grasp. Its arms coming at you from the grave. Creepy. Flesh Taker is such a cool card. I love its artwork. Unironically, I think it's really cool artwork just in general, but also ironically in like the pose of like, Mom, I frued up. Okay. Opponent's on green-white. They got a first striker right off the bat, but luckily they're sending it in, so they're letting me get my damage in. I'll start with Strangler here. Strangler's not great against Disturb cards, but when I'm following it up with an Opportunist, that makes up for it a lot. Draw a card when we chump attack with it, and then draw another card when they finally sack to it. We've got a little bit of a dilemma here. If they just pass turn over, do I sack Strangler to the Awakener and draw the card, or do I play the Opportunist first before I try to do any of that nonsense? Dawnheart Mentor. Now I think I just sack the Strangler, because I can put the Strangler onto the Mentor itself. Instead of having to put it on a Disturb card. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just sacked the Strangler here. Onto the Dawnheart Mentor. Any of their blocks here are absolutely terrible. Yeah, so no block. And I'm still going to do the thing. Send in the squad, take my 2 damage. There's Morning Patrol, we untap. Do they just sack the Mentor? They do just sack the Mentor. Get it out of there. Fair. Go on full damage here. Next turn we can play a 2-drop and an Opportunist, and that helps a lot. Boom, they are down to 9 life. Ecstatic Awakener, I mean, really, technically, Awoken Demon is what we're talking about here. But Awoken Demon really just gets in so much damage so fast. Audric's Outrider is a great one. Now, anytime any of their cards are dying, they're putting +1/+1 counters elsewhere. So that's gnarly, but if we lead with Opportunist, the trades are still going to be worth it. So how do they kill Awoken Demon profitably? 2/3, 2/4, and 1/1 on it. I would kill the Outrider then. That's still worth it for me. If the Outrider doesn't block, they don't have 5 power. Yep, Awoken Demon's still coming in then. So it's going to be a chump where we draw a card and they get a +1/+1 counter. I feel like I'm getting the better end of the deal there. And then we'll run out a Flesh Taker over Occultist. Yeah, I mean, I've already got my 6-drop. I don't need to draw more cards immediately. Let's just get the better stats onto the board. And then in the long run, if they don't kill Morbid Opportunist, then I also don't really need to be drawing Cultist cards either. Clarion Cathars, a 3/3 and a 1/1. That's a wide board state to get more blocks in, more chumps in, and more Outrider triggers. And it's also the board that they need to be able to make a decent block on the Awoken Demon. They can block and kill it without using the Outrider now. Yeah. But I'll draw a card, ping them for 2, put them to 6. This is still worth it. We are flooding pretty hard. Got 9 lands drawn total. And they do have that removal for Dreadhound, which was our biggest win condition here. Still draws us another Morbid Opportunist card, puts them to 5. Blessed Defiance could sneak lethal pretty well, but they've got a lot of creatures. They're going to keep coming back to Hello, Jaren. Could solve our issue a little here. I can play a Jaren and an Occultist and have double sack for Flesh Taker up. Make it a 6/6. I mean, I could just triple sack for Flesh Taker already. Eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power over there. Still not quite big enough to survive if they just block all. I think I'm going to just run this all out and wait a turn. I can't really get to 13 because Flesh Taker is going to keep gaining life. All I can do is like sack Occultist to go to 14 because Occultist pings me and Jaren pings me. So I can get down to 14, can't get back up to 15. Beginning of your end step if you have exactly 13. Yeah, so technically I'll be at 13 life for a millisecond, but at that time it won't be the beginning of my end step trigger. Do I sack this right now? I'm going to keep it for a sack on another attack. Alright, land number 10 is here. But again, I mean, this Jaren's huge. If this Flesh Taker dies, it's still fine if I cast Blessed Defiance because we'll get a flyer. And that flyer will kill them in 5 turns. Okay. So they're just going to force a sack here. So we'll sack Occultist. Get a ton of triggers for value. And again, I don't really think that I'm trying to get to exactly 13 life. That just feels quite unlikely, so I'm going to gain 4 as well. Although now I've drawn enough mana worth of spells, I could multi-spell. But I would have had 7 mana untapped, which still isn't enough to cast both of these regardless. I could only cast one of the 2. Cool. Chaplain's gone, we're up to 18. And then we play the Diregraph Horde. Basically, if they don't board wipe us, we should be able to attack with our entire board and enough individual creatures get through to hit them for 5. Defend the Celestials for a bunch of counters on their board. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attackers. Jesus, yep. There's the concession from our opponent. Another pretty commanding victory there. There was like one moment of worry, but basically at every other point, we were confidently ahead. Really, really strong stuff from the deck. Very good matches so far, and we are 5-0. We are undefeated all the way into the money out of this draft. So no matter where things go from here, we are leaving with more gems than we spent to enter. It has been an incredibly good return trip to Innistrad Midnight Hunt. All right, here we are on the play for game 6 with a 0 creature hand. It's 2 removal spells and a combat trick. We're definitely supposed to mulligan this. Because realistically speaking, if we don't draw a creature, what do we do? The answer is absolutely nothing. But I like doing nothing. Like sitting at home on a lazy day. On the recliner. Not even turning on the TV. We're just vibing. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Blue-black from our opponent. The best deck, starting with Ludovic, a great rare. We'll have to defenestrate him. Too big for Midnight Ambush. And certainly big enough that he needs to be killed. Blue-black has some really good graveyard recursion there, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Crawl from the Cellar or something for him later. Drawing our cards too slow, so they could have a flip the switch here. They want to flip the switch and Arrogant Outlaw, they got it. Get that thing out of the way. A Dissipate. Was not expecting that. That's better for me than a flip the switch would be. Because they don't get a Decayed Zombie or anything. And that would have gotten me really late in the game no matter how much mana I had up. What do you got for Hobbling Zombie? Maybe a full-on removal spell this time. Destroy a creature or something. Their own Midnight Ambush. Sure, I'm not going to Bless Defiance just yet. I can Bless Defiance on the Decayed Zombie to gain 4 and get the 1/1 flyer still. Yeah, I've got double Bless Defiance, so we're certainly going to do that. This would be a really bad block for our opponent. And they don't do it, which makes sense, because it would be awful. Cool. Get my 1/1 flyer. That is my creature in hand, I guess. And then Search Party Captain. And there's Midnight Ambush mana up. Land for turn. They got 2 cards in hand. I don't know what they are, because they're not doing anything with them. We're really going to Bless Defiance a larger zombie. I mean, I guess that's the world we live in right now. Nobody's doing anything. Our opponent somehow also kept a hand where they're just vibing. We're just playing Mario Party on the couch together or something. I don't know what's happening right now. I feel like I just made a new homie. Could have just been holding on to removal for a little while, but all our creatures kind of suck, so they didn't want to use it, but they have no creatures of their own on board, so they're getting to the point where they have to use it. I shouldn't have played that land. At this point, we've gone on long enough drawing extra lands that are unnecessary that I should have 2 extra basics sitting in my hand for if they draw No Way Out that makes me discard 2. That way, if they draw that before they draw a creature I want to ambush, I still get to keep it. I feel like I'm supposed to sack the Spirit right now. We hit twice as hard with a 4/4 as we do with these 2 by themselves. I guess we can wait. They could top deck like a Dreadhound or something, and that would change our play. Like if they play a 6/6 onto this board, I'd rather just keep this flyer and chip in. But if they just draw the little Death Toucher, then I can kill that and then hit for 4 on the ground instead. Have all my mana up for anything I draw into. Sure. I am not going to play this land. I am not going to play this land. I am not going to play this land. Muscle memory. Well, if they flooded here, they're dead now. 6 power on board. They looked at their grave, though. They probably hit Crawl from the Cellar, then get 2 cards back from grave if they did. Get the Ludovic. Play the Ludovic. The 4/4s. Still pretty good here. They probably have to just get back the Death Toucher then if that's what they have. It could also just be them lamenting how this game has gone. And just being like, what the heck, dude? Looking through their grave and be like, why did I draw poop? But the amount of looking through the grave, I really think it's Crawl from the Cellar. Yeah. They're going to choose Ludovic. Because Ludovic does get to transform. That's right. So Ludovic could be a 4/4 Death Toucher. Or just like a way bigger creature, period. Yeah, we're going to die to that. Oh, we are so lucky they milled Grafted Identity. That said, this Crawl from the Cellar is a huge, huge stabilizer here, but they're dead to removal. We top deck it. Jaren's not removal, but Jaren's quite good. Send both. I put them to 4. This is not a human anymore, so this does just straight up die. Oh my god, I played my land. Remember how many times I said I'm not going to play my lands? I think I wait. No, I mean, they've got that Crawl from the Cellar. Yeah. I think we're stuck staring at each other again now. If they hit the Grafted Identity, if they top decked that thing, we would have just flat lost the game. That card is absurd. I'm not going to play this land until next turn when I forget again. Why did they not flashback Crawl from the Cellar is the question. Another Hobbling Zombie off the top. Yep. So they have something else going on over there. They're not crawling. Well, there you go. Probably removal for this Opportunist to make this not actually worth it, but if they don't have removal, then this attack is fantastic for us. Our board stays just as wide, but we draw another card. Could gain a life too. But it's actually better if we get closer to 13. We're miles away from 13 life, but still. Vengeful Strangler is a very good one. That'll kill Olog, Ludovic's Hubris. Flesh Taker is also phenomenal on this board. Now just send in the Strangler for the trigger. Keep all my mana open for whenever I draw off Opportunist. Get my bonus 1/1. Ooh, them taking the damage is super good for me because we have Flesh Taker too. I'm going to sack it right now so that if I draw another creature off Opportunist, we play another creature and get rid of Summoning Sickness before our next turn. Oh yeah, that is an excellent additional creature to play. If they don't board wipe us, they're dead next turn. So if they have Meathook Massacre, I guess we lose. And otherwise we win. Novice Occultist. They have 4 blockers total. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. I guess they could win with 1 removal spell still. Barely. Well, now they can't. Oh yeah, they have to sack something during our turn anyway. They could sack the Decayed Zombie. Okay. Well, very lucky game. Very strange game of Magic. One of our weaker keeps overall for sure. Our hand didn't really do anything for a long time, but neither did theirs, luckily. And just the way that the draws lined up was super well. I think the biggest thing going in our favor there in terms of the lineup of draws was the fact that the Ludovic recast milled their Grafted Identity. That was so good for us. Genuinely think if they just drew the Grafted Identity naturally alongside that Ludovic, we 100% would have lost. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the draws line up well, and there you go. That is 6-0. Undefeated all the way to the final battle here. So we have 3 shots at getting max prize out of this draft. And this might be our 3rd 7-win run in a row. Not only that, but they've been commanding leads on the 7-win runs if we get this as a 7-0 or a 7-1. We did 7-0 into 7-1, and now we're 6-0 on our 3rd draft of this Midnight Hunt return. Crazy stuff. All right, here we are on the draw for the final battle. We only have 2 black cards in this hand, and all of our mana is black sources. So there's 3 white cards stranded here if we don't hit the right color. But both of the black cards are 2 mana plays. And a single white source makes the hand really, really strong, so I'm going to keep it on the draw, but it is another risky hand. Blue-green from our opponent, they start with Shipwreck Sifters, draw a card, discard a card. Discarding a Spirit, so that's a 2 mana 2/3, draw a card, discard a card, which is a wonderful deal. And luckily, we get a wonderful deal as well. The deal of drawing a Plains for our mono black hand. Eccentric Farmer's the next play, one of green's best commons. Just mill a few cards, pick up your land, make sure you keep hitting your land draws, and get a nice little 2-for-1. The 2/3 body is also just a really good stat line. It lines up well. We've got a 3-drop, so we just play Awakener and hold up Ambush or Defiance. If I had 2 planes, then I would be really happy, because I could play like Trapper and Awakener and still have Defiance up. I don't think I'm Defiancing any of these 2/3s. Root Coil Creeper. That's a 2/2, so I will Midnight Ambush that. There's the Hook Haunt Drifter. Kill the Mana Dork. Go to our turn. We can attack with 1 creature for Search Party Captain at worst. Hope to get a Plains off the top here. If we're lucky. We are not lucky. We are missing land draws here. Even drawing additional cards. Take our damage. Go to 9. There we go. We got Silversmith now. They have a flip to switch or something. That Silversmith's going to look real bad, but so is like Blessed Defiance and everything else. I can Bless Defiance and flip Awakener, I guess. So we flip Awakener on blocks. Probably have to go full defense at this rate. I can play Gavany Trapper and flip Awakener on blocks, and that's a really reasonable spot. They got the 5 mana 3/3 flyer. That would actually be very gross. That would make the play of just like skipping through actually quite bad here. Because weirdly enough, we have good attacks into a random 3/3 flying blocker. No, they play nothing. Thank goodness. I was getting real nervous about that Stormgeist or whatever, 5-mana 3/3 flyer. Scab Wrangler. That card is phenomenal. You can tap 3 creatures to tap anybody they want. Block like that and see what they have. Guess they probably bounce Ecstatic Awakener or something. We're still going to kill one of the 2/3s, unless they have double bounce spell here. In which case their hand is just super, super good. It is one bounce spell. Okay, I still draw the card, I believe. Don't want to redraw that, though. I got a 6-drop that's really good here. Yeah, I do still draw the card. Fleshtaker Strangler pass. Fleshtaker sack on Strangler gives us a life and a scry. And then sets up to blow up one of their creatures each turn. Another double creature card for the Scab Wrangler is really strong. And they pass through. So they're going to tap 2 of my creatures is the plan. It's a good draw. I have to keep that over Dreadhound, I think. Actually, no, I probably still should have scried it to the bottom. Since the best target for it is the one that's already under Strangling Grasp. Six mana to activate for +3/+3 trample. I mean, land 6, I think I did the right play keeping Ambush, because actually just like playing a Dreadhound when they still have the Wrangler down. It's just gonna get it tapped anyway. Play the Silversmith, so they can tap 1 now. It takes 3 of their creatures to tap 1 next turn, and then they don't have lethal because 3 of their creatures, so the 0, the 1, and the 1. They deal 4, 5, 6, 7 if they do the Mentor as well. I think I play to the board still for 1 more turn rather than ambushing the Wrangler, because I'm not going to die next turn to anything on board, which means that we'll get 1 more kill off of the Strangling Grasp again if I leave Wrangler around. Then I can like Fleshtaker and Defiance life gain to try to not die. And I have the Ambush too. Land for turn. Coven abilities instant speed. Make it a 5/6. So Blessed Defiance isn't enough to kill it. I can tap them out of that at least. Ugh. It's another blocker too. Play my blocker, stay at a hardy life total here. So I actually go up in life this turn, and I keep the same number of blockers. I have a 1/1 jump blocker. And we get another grasp trigger. And we kill the Wrangler. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Now we play a Dreadhound. They have no Wrangler. They're hitting us for 1 in the sky every turn. Our Dreadhound is too big for them to coven through on the ground. Our flying blocker's not good. Against the 1/2. We got a game. Dreadhound pings 1, they're down to 11. That balanced things out here. We're at 12, they're at 11. The boards are pretty comparable. I'd say our board's a little better, but they have 2 cards in hand to our 1. And their first play is Gale Drifter for another flyer, which is a problem, but we have the Midnight Ambush for it. Anyway. Looks good to me. Scry a land to the bottom. Kill that, kill that. Ping, ping. Kill Gale Drifter. They will get to recast it, but we do it while they're tapped out of the trample. More importantly, it's +3/+3. It's Whale Drifter. It has been recast as the 2/2 flyer. And a stun was the top deck. That's a great card here. Flesh Taker still threatens lethal. Attack for... They have to chump the Flesh Taker, or else it hits for 6 and gets Dreadhound triggers for lethal. They have to block with something. Whale Drifter it is. Which exiles itself when it dies, so it's 1 less Dreadhound damage. Does that make sense? Arrogant Outlaw. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I mean, if we hit them with anything, they're dead already. But like just any creature off the top, I think we're keeping. Winterhorn Blessing onto the Mentor for a 5 toughness blocker against the like 4/4 Flesh Taker that we're threatening to hit them with. Play Outlaw pre-combat. That would be a wild play if they attack with Mentor. I guess we don't know their last card in hand. That could be another blue creature, in which case that's fine. They attack both. They're dead to any creature on top of my deck. Gonna play it the safe way of attack first, then drain. Okay. This plays safer against removal the way that I did it. Okay, there's the concession from our opponent. Yeah, they don't have lethal on the crackback. We put them to 1 off of the Dreadhound trigger, sacking a creature during their end step. Oh, man. So 7-0 it was. So because I played around removal instead of playing around the counterspell, we actually killed them a little slither. I could have killed them that turn if I played Outlaw pre-combat. Because I could go... Actually, no, I couldn't. It would have been Outlaw pre-combat, which then I'd have to spend the extra 4 on, so I wouldn't have the mana to Flesh Taker twice anyway to get the lethal. Yeah, it's the same damage either way, actually, against the counterspell since I have to pay the extra 4. But it plays better to do the Outlaw post-combat against them having removal, like a bounce spell or something, because if I just play the Outlaw and then sack both my creatures trying to hit for 6, then they bounce that back to my hand. That is one of the only ways to lose from this position, so that's why I went for Outlaw post-combat instead of pre-combat sack. Anyways, very close game of Magic. Good stuff from our opponent with the blue-green deck. Blue-green's one of the weakest archetypes in the set, so great showing from it there. They played well. They drafted a strong deck. Lots of quality cards here, but luckily we just hit a little more in the top, and the Dreadhound really carrying that end game. And the Dreadhound Flesh Taker combo, again, those two cards together. What an excellent draft for us. A full 7-0 undefeated run yet again. 2 7-0s and a 7-1 is what we've got on this return trip to Midnight Hunt. Ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. Very, very good record we've gotten to show off. The best decks in the format, really the Esper decks, the decks in blue, white, and black. 2 blue-black decks in a row, and now we get to show off some of that black-white sack. It played a bit differently, and it was quite strong for us. We got to do a lot of cute stuff with Flesh Taker and Morbid Opportunist. The Vengeful Strangler with the Flesh Taker as well was nice. Flesh Taker overall, I'm very glad I took Flesh Taker over that removal spell that one time, because it was a very fun card. It led to a lot of interesting and powerful plays, and it was just a solid card in general as well. So really, really happy we got Flesh Taker in here, because that was one of the cards that made the deck the most unique and interesting and stuff. But we also get to show a little bit of what white gives you access to in the set. Not a lot. We're much deeper into black than white, but certainly showing off the power of Search Party Captain. There was that one game that we got to play a 1-mana Search Party Captain and an Arrogant Outlaw on the same turn. Anytime you get to 1-drop Search Party Captain and flood the board that quickly, you can get really ahead on board. So Search Party Captain was a banger we got to show off. Blessed Defiance was being consistently great. Again, it just has all of the right words on this card. It does a little tiny bit of everything. If you're racing your opponent, +2/+0 and lifelink sometimes is going to be a huge swing in that race, because now your 4/4 that trades into their 4/4, maybe even your 3/2 that's about to trade into their 3/3, is now going to gain you 5 life while it does that, and then give you a 1/1 spirit back. So this is like a 1/1 flyer if you need a 1/1 flyer. It's a big life gain swing if you need a big life gain swing. Sometimes it makes your creature big enough to actually trade into a bigger creature on the opponent's side of the board. Just, again, a lot of little stuff, but you tack it all together, and the Blessed Defiance plays consistently great, as it did today. The rest of our non-creature spells are self-explanatory, just all removal. Midnight Ambush was an underperformer for sure, because if we wanted to actually make it nighttime consistently, we had to play some real mediocre filler. We would have had to play some Shady Travelers, which might have been worth it. Our Midnight Ambushers were consistently a bit mid. They would have been better with some kind of daybound, nightbound support, but I think they were still worth running without having any werewolves or anything. They were still okay, but that's probably the biggest underperformer in the deck, is the Midnight Ambushes. Biggest overperformer? I already knew Flesh Taker was good, but I kind of want to say Flesh Taker anyway. We drew it very frequently and did some strong stuff with it. We knew Morbid Opportunist was absolutely ridiculous, and it played that way as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to give Flesh Taker the biggest overperformer award. Everything else was about where I expected it to be in power level, but I thought that taking Flesh Taker of the removal spell was going to be a little bit just like for variety's sake and for fun's sake, but I think genuinely it earned its spot by the end of that draft, and showed off that it may have just been stronger than having an Eat Alive in the deck, because it was constantly putting in work for us. Good stuff from Flesh Taker. Sorry you threwed up. So that is 7-0. Yet another trophy run in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe if you want to let the YouTube algorithm know to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.